everybody, it's Tara. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Many blessings to you. We're live here today, and I had to come inside with the homeschooling and everything that's going on. A lot of the neighbors' kids are home all the time, so it's kind of noisy in the backyard these days. Anyways, so hopefully this is more quiet. There's a little bit of lighting issues we'll get it worked out. Anyways, so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about Samhain or Halloween or the last harvest or whatever, there's a lot of different holidays at this time. The Day of the Dead. There's a Korean holiday I know I can't think of the name of right this second. But anyway, so there's a lot of things that happen at this time of the year. Most of them are all centered around honoring the dead and the end of the cycle and the coming of this darkness. And so let's talk about that. So first off, we're coming on this time where they say the veil is being lifted. And what they mean by that is that the boundary between our reality and the spiritual realms is becoming more foggy, I guess. Less like a barrier and more like a mist that you can kind of see through. Those who are more sensitive have probably already started to notice. You see something out of the corner of your eye. You hear things that aren't really there. You're hearing spirits and energies. You can feel the energy of the earth a little bit stronger. And there's just little things of that nature that people are starting to feel. Your dreams are more vivid. Daydreaming becomes a thing. A lot of people are like, I just get easy to like doze off in the daytime. And so you'll also might notice more deja vu and seeing more things like that, which again are just because that energy is being lifted and you're feeling the sense, the different spirits, energies, those kind of things. And as we get closer to the last harvest, you're going to see more of that. It's going to become more apparent. You're going to feel that. Some people feel a little more restless as we get closer, and especially with it being at the full moon. So this is exciting this year. It's going to be the full moon on the last harvest, which doesn't happen very often, but it just makes for wonderful, amazing energy. It always makes me think of the witch's ball, not your local witch's ball, which I'm really sad isn't happening this year, but in general, the mythological witch's ball, when our ancestors would come out under the full moon of this last harvest and would honor these energies. And there's a lot of other things that go along with that, but nobody really knows. It was a secret, so we won't speculate. Anyways, I just imagine it was a really fun time. It was a lot of good energy. People were just really honoring their ancestors, honoring themselves, honoring their spirit guides, honoring their practice, and celebrating it. I think that because we live in this very modern Christianized society, monotheistic societies, not just Christians, who see this death as like death and doom go kind of hand in hand, I feel like. There's a lot of fear, whereas in paganism and in many of the ancient religions, death wasn't the end, death was just the next step. In like Peruvian legend, they would bring out their dead to celebrate with them. It was part of their celebration. Now they're on the other side of the earth, so this happens in the springtime, but it's the same kind of idea. They're honoring their ancestors, they're honoring their dead. There's also cultures in Korea, Thailand, kind of in that area. I can't remember which one it is, but they also do the same thing where they bring their dead out and they actually honor them, and they're not just like creepy places that nobody goes to. I think it's kind of funny. Originally, cemeteries were parks and they had trees and gardens and stuff because this is somewhere where we went to be with our dead. We would have picnics. We would honor them. We would celebrate with them. We would go there for their birthday. We would do those things. And so it's just slowly we've kind of turned away from that, and it's sad to see. You drive past graveyards and they're not honored. They're just empty places with all of these sad energies that are just there. I used to really get overwhelmed by cemeteries, and the energy made me feel and think like I was necrophobic, and that like all dead things were scary, and it would like became this overzealot thing, and it was crazy in my brain. And then when I started to realize that it's not the graveyard, it's the fact that all of these energies are there and there's nobody there to listen to them. It's like going into that old folks home where nobody ever goes to visit, and every single person you walk past desperately reaches out to talk to you, like, please talk to me. That's what the cemeteries are like now. Our ancestors are sitting there with so much to say. These spirits have so much to say for whatever it is that they're there, why ever they're still present, and they're trying to share that information. And I think after years and years and years of getting ignored, we do have some of those energies kind of transition to like they're annoyed with people for not listening, so then they play that back at you, but that's a different video. We'll talk about that later. As we get closer to Samhain or Samhain or the last harvest, the blood moon, the blood toast, of course, because now I'm sitting here trying to do this live and I didn't bring my paper with me, I can't remember the like 10 other holidays that are celebrated at this time, and I'm sorry. So someday. Anyways, so the dead are coming out. They want your attention. And you're going to be seeing them, especially the more sensitive you are. Now, in the mythology of the gods, in the circle of the year, this is also when the god is about to die, or he already has at some point throughout this harvest season, depending on the path that you follow. There typically is a deity that is dying, a god that is dying, so that he may be reborn. But as he dies, also the goddess, his love, his mother, his wife, all of those things goes into mourning, and that's why we come into this darkness. So from Samhain, or the last harvest, all the way until the winter solstice, or Yule, is this time of darkness. So there is, it's just so funny, every time I go live, suddenly people are like, hey, I want to talk to you. So there is this time of darkness, and this is the time of transition. So in like Celtic mythology, this would be the time that we enter into the cauldron of rebirth. For some cultures, it's a cave that, you go into the underworld. The god goes into the underworld so that he and his energy may be reborn. In some paths, it's a goddess. It really just depends on the path that you are in. But as the earth naturally makes this transition, pretty much all of our ancestors had some kind of mythology that went along with that. So the earth is in essence dying and being reborn. And as the days get really, really short and cold, and some places it's dry, like you get a dry season, just depending on where you are, but you get this time of dormant energy, which translates to death, and then it is reborn. And I think that that's where our ancestors get a lot of their mythology. That's why our spirits are reborn. That's why our energy is never destroyed. It can only be transformed. So as the energy is transformed, we really feel that, and it allows you to connect with people who are already transformed or been there or in that transition state. And it also allows you to connect deeper with yourself. So you can, on one hand, connect with your ancestors and your spirit guides and all of these energies that can help guide you and help assist you through the transition from the darkness to the rebirth that happens at the winter solstice. But you can also ask them to help you journey inward into your own darkness, into your own unknown, to help you be reborn as a newer energy, a better energy, to help come out of whatever repetitive cycle you feel like you've got stuck into. And I think now that we've had almost a year now, 6 months, it seems like 5 years for many of us, but we've had all of this time to be inside and to be thinking and to be by ourselves and really analyzing who we are and what we're doing and what we want and what's going on around us. I think that this transition of darkness is going to be one of a lot of internal change, and coming up on Samhain is a good time to make offerings to your ancestors, to ask for that guidance, to ask for their protection and their love and their encouragement so that they can be there for you as you go through this. To ask your spirit guides, hey, what is it that I really need to be analyzing and looking into? And to celebrate and honor them. I mean, that's the big part. Really get out and honor and celebrate and be with them and say how much you appreciate all of their energy. Because I feel like a lot of people are really going to need it through this darkness. And you're going to be doing a lot of critical thinking, a lot of internal work, and coming out on the other side better and brighter and less damaged is the goal. And so your spirit guides are there to help you. So give them a thanks. Say, hey, thank you so much for doing this. And I know it's going to be something. Everybody's got something, and so they're going to work through that. And as we come into this darkness, we'll work through that. And then as the sun is reborn on the winter solstice, so you also are reborn on the summer solstice to be a better you, to make the next step in your life, to continue on in your cycles and your transitions and all of that great stuff. So, I guess there it is in a nutshell. I never know where to go after I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. I guess the other thing I do want to mention about the full moon that's coming up. So sometimes I feel like I might be saying this over and over again too many times, but I feel like this is an important thing to put out there as we are coming up on this blue moon. This is a modern blue moon. The traditional definition of a blue moon is the third full moon in a season that has 4 full moons. So typically on a typical season from spring to summer to whatever. In one season we have 3 full moons. It's like every 2.8 or 3 point something years we have a season that actually gets 4 full moons, and making from one solstice to the next solstice 13 full moons. Now, why this is important, and I emphasize solstice, is because our ancestors didn't use our modern Gregorian Romanized calendar where they had these months that are 31 days. They always used the moon calendar. It was always the moon cycles, and therefore this extra moon between the 2 solstices was actually something very important. And since there were people who spent their whole life calculating this out, they would have it, they would know, and they would be like, okay, this is how it's going to go down. And this would be a full moon that was honored at a great height because it was a gift. For our ancestors, this was the gift of an extra month. Could you imagine getting an extra month in the year? Now, this doesn't really happen because that's not how our calendars work anymore. But from one solstice to the next solstice, you are getting this extra month, and it's just amazing. So, yes, all of the calendars say blue moon, and yes, this is going to be a very, very, very magical moon. One, because it's on the last harvest, which is going to be great, and it's going to illuminate the path for all the dead. It's going to illuminate all of the spirits. It's going to illuminate all that energy and help us all connect and celebrate. And so it's going to be a super powerful moon. And it also holds some power because for the last almost 100 years now, the modern definition of a blue moon has been intact, in operation. I don't even know. That definition was created. It was a misinterpretation that was printed in a Space and Time magazine or the Farmer's Almanac. But it was printed, and that's what everybody went with. And they just got a little off. Because it's hard to, I don't know if you've ever tried, but it's really hard to like put the ancient calendar with the modern calendar. I've done the Greek calendar and the Egyptian calendar now. And since like the Egyptian calendar starts on the day that the dog star rises, Sirius star rises, there's a lot of counting. It's not like it is now with your calendar. So with all of that said, this is not a true blue moon, but a modern blue moon, and it'll be super powerful and amazing. And I really hope everyone has a chance to get out and to honor their ancestors and to say thank you and to interact with your spirit guides and all of that stuff, because that's what this is all about. And just remember to stay safe. If you are in gatherings, do your due diligence, be smart, and if you're sick, stay at home, all that great stuff. And be ready for this time of darkness where we're going to be transitioning into internal work and dealing with that dark energy that comes after the solstice. So, as always, if you have any questions, please reach out and let me know. And if you're curious about something, you can always post. There are people all over who can help answer questions. We love helping, and that's why we're all here, and we just want to reach out to you. So, like I always say, don't forget to click around and see all the different groups and pages and everything that's growing and coming along, and it's very exciting new growth all over. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you see the live videos and all of that great stuff. And I toast to all of you and all you do, and hope you're having a fantastic day.